I spent the last 2 years searching for barefoot shoes that look normal without sacrificing the benefits of barefoot shoes. Most have failed, but with this shoe from Xero Glenn, I think I found the answer. Now, I've been wearing this shoe for over 18 months now, from everything from casual wear to the office for daily outings and running errands. Now, the problem I've had with barefoot shoes is that most look out of place. They don't often look like they belong in the setting. So with the Xero Glenn, I think there's a few characteristics of the shoe that make it hide in plain sight. The first being the toe box. Usually on a barefoot shoe, the toe box is extremely wide. This isn't the case here. We'll get into the width of the toe box later. It does look like quite a regular shoe in that case. The second is around the sole of the shoe. This shoe is actually a false sole. So your foot sits below this white line instead of on top of it, but it does make it look more like a regular traditional shoe. The third is around this upper. Usually you have a stiffer upper on a regular shoe, which is the same case as this shoe here, making it seem like it is a regular traditional shoe, but in fact it gives me all the benefits of a barefoot shoe. So in my opinion, it's one of the closest looking barefoot shoes to its counterpart in the regular traditional market. But that's just my opinion. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. So let's run over the shoe features before we see how it is performed on foot. Now, firstly, with the design of this shoe, this is designed to be a classic Oxford style shoe. Versatility was in mind when it was designed. This shoe can be dressed up for anything at the office. If you have something more formal, I would say up until smart business casual use. And it can also be dressed down. Anything with jeans, this shoe would also work well. Let's start off with the upper. Now, this is a nuback leather. It's very simple, very minimal. There isn't a lot to it. You do have a bit of padding on the heel collar here, and it was initially quite stiff, but it does soften up after a few weeks of wear to a point where it's actually quite comfortable now. Initially, it wasn't too comfortable, but it just takes a little bit of time to break in. The other aspect I realized is it is quite heavy for a barefoot shoe. Not a problem, but the sole actually adds quite a lot of weight, even though the upper is quite minimal. Around the back, you have a little heel tab. The laces are this cotton lace. They definitely do the job and are quite durable. It doesn't feel the most premium. When I first held this shoe, you can tell other shoes from Vivobarefoot, for instance, even though they're a lot more expensive, they're definitely a lot nicer to hold in the hand, and the materials you can instantly tell are not as premium here. Overall, this upper, very minimal, not a whole lot going on. You can see some of the stitching here. It's held up pretty well. It's very smooth and doesn't pick up a lot of dirt, which is good, and has actually held up a lot in the rain. Let's move on to the outsole. So Xero call this their true rubber outsole. I have some stern thoughts on this, which I'll get onto later on. It's 5 millimeters. I don't have the insole anymore, but I think that's another 2 or 3 millimeters. So you're getting up towards the 8 millimeter mark, which is definitely on the upper end for a barefoot shoe. It's not as flexible as some other barefoot shoes, but 1,000 times more flexible than a regular traditional shoe. Let's get on to the fit and sizing of this shoe. I'd say this shoe definitely fits true to size. I have a US 13 on this and it fits really well. There isn't a lot of slippage, and I do actually get a fair bit of toe splay within this shoe, even though it doesn't look like it's the widest shoe, which I think helps it match a traditional shoe. They've done a good job here of somehow masking that clownish looking aspect that you usually get in barefoot shoes. Overall, I'd say this is really comfortable. The material feels really nice on the skin. It does sort of mold to your foot over time. Nothing really digs in. You can wear it all day and not really have any problems here. We'll get onto the performance of this shoe. Usually people kind of comment on when I'm wearing barefoot shoes. We're like, oh, that's a barefoot shoe. Be like, yeah. And then we sort of talk about it. That never happens with this shoe. People have no idea. It looks extremely similar to a regular shoe. You can dress it up in the office where you need a full leather shiny shoe. This isn't going to be the answer there, but I would say up until business casual, smart business casual, potentially even a wedding. It depends where you go, and you could wear this. They do have a full black and full brown version that might be more suitable. I think with this white sole, it kind of adds more to the casual look. You can also dress it down a lot. I've worn this out to restaurants, out on dinners and dates, and had no issues there. I think the shoe has looked great for that. Let's talk about the performance in terms of the upper. It's held the foot in really well. I'm often wearing this at work where I have to walk 20 minutes each way. In terms of the walking, it holds the foot down very well and has been comfortable when walking. That moves me on to the outsole though. where this is the significant and probably only downfall of this shoe, but it's really bad, is the grip. It's diabolical. I've not experienced anything worse in a shoe, which is really disappointing because they were so close to knocking this shoe out of the park. But in the wet, you cannot wear it at all. I wore it the first few times when it was slightly damp and my shoe was sliding around a lot. Then I was walking to work one time, down some stairs, fully slipped over onto my back, even when I was being cautious, knowing that this didn't have the best grip. Since then, I've had to tread really lightly about when I'm wearing this. Even in the dry, testing this shoe out, it does slip around a lot. It's super disappointing. It's like no one has even tested this outsole, because I'm not sure how anyone could get away with it if they properly test it. But if anyone from Xero ever watches this video, please change the outsole and you have an amazing shoe on your hands. The last point is the durability and the construction. I think it's top notch here. Xero have a 5,000 mile warranty on this. I haven't used it for that, obviously, but I reckon it would go close to that. There's been no signs of wear, hardly, even after 18 months of use. We move on to the pricing of the shoe, and this is another strength of the shoe. This is only priced at 130 USD. At 130 US, I don't think there's a lot on the market that can beat it. There's a few other shoes out there which come close, but I think with the versatility of this shoe, you're getting a pretty good deal. I'll have a look at a few alternatives, and the first one being from Vivobarefoot, and that is their RA. I just did a review on this shoe, so go check it out if you want to go see that. But the RA is definitely an upgrade on this shoe. It gives you a more true barefoot shoe experience. You'll feel a lot more underfoot from the shoe. It's a lot more flexible and it is full leather. Also with that, it is a lot more expensive. I think it's around the 170 USD mark. So bear that in mind if you do want to upgrade for a more premium and true barefoot feeling experience. The other one, if you're looking for something similar at the same price range, look at the Lanka Cityscape. I've started testing this shoe. It's pretty decent. I'd say it has the same flexibility and thickness in the sole. It is a leather version of this. It isn't as versatile, but if you need something slightly more formal, that could be a shoe to look out for at a very similar price point. So the Xero Glenn definitely solves one of barefoot shoes' biggest problems. You don't even know it's barefoot and gives you all the benefit. Go with this if you're going to be in the dry. Don't wear this in the wet, please. And you'll have a good shoe in your hands. If you like this review, give it a like and subscribe for more barefoot shoe content.